Good. Is it still morning? Good morning, you guys. I don't be knowing. I had my grandbaby and she has had me going, but it is still morning. She is gone. I love her so much, but Lord, thank you. I hate to say it. I fell asleep on her last night, but but I jumped up out of my sleep and she was laying on top of me, so that was a good thing, child. Um oh Lord, let me change that because Brillian. Where I get that C from? I don't know how I be hitting the wrong letters, like making it seem like I'm illiterate. Hold on. Let me see if I can change that. You know what they say. If I can had changed it that. Especially on the main page. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the be quiet. Stop. Get over here. Okay, I took that out. Get over here. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. I'm trying to catch back up on my videos. I've been so busy. It's that time of the year. It's Christmas and people are busy, and I have been doubly busy. Thank you. My grandbaby just left. She just left. She just left. And she has had me working. I promise you, she's had me working. She wake up wanting to play, and which is fine. And Mickey Mouse, she want to look at Mickey Mouse, and she's just a busy. She's just a little busybody. Hey, Kawana. Hey, Black Barbie. Hey, Tyranny. Yeah, we're going to talk about why are brilliant artists being gunned down, and did P. Diddy help or hurt the hip hop movement? I mean, since I've looked at that documentary, I have totally like become obsessed. Now, I see where Gene Deal did an interview with Art Dialogue, and I was wondering where Gene was at. Um, I like Gene Deal. I do. Um, I think when you started seeing Gene go on some of when I don't think Gene understands, like when you start to go on some people's shows or whatever, it takes away from your credibility. I'm sure he doesn't know that because I don't think he's like a internet, like a YouTube um gangster or anything like that. But he was on another um he was on the Art of Dialogue, okay, and he was definitely talking about what he thought about the Diddy's documentary, right? What he thought about the documentary. Um and he kind of said some things that was extremely interesting. Hello, Tamara. Hope you're doing well. Did you see Govan's new interview on his YouTube channel called Prison Stories, where he said he talked to Straight Drop 2 weeks ago? No, I didn't see that. Straight Drop said Cornelius tricked him. They lying. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look at that one. I wish you know what, I didn't see that. I might have to add that, or I might have to just do upload like a y'all know I've been Child, I done been child. Ooh, child. Mm, y'all know I've been trying to get my work and stuff done. I think Govan them need to calm down. Um, but they probably can't. They probably can't at this point. Prison Stories 101. Okay, let me look at that. Before we get into the coop, shit, my grandbaby done been on my phones, and let me pull that up. Prison Stories 101. I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone. Let's see, Prison Stories 101. Whew, Lord Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put Govan name in the thing. What's
I said, Nancy, if there's anything that's keeping you from or hindering you from representing me to the best of your ability, like I know you can, just give me a head nod or something. Just let me know. I know you might not be at liberty to speak on it, but just let me know this is my life on the line. He said the 10 was the lowest he could do. So when I reached out to the people that mattered and everybody felt like it wasn't worth the gamble. The city I'm from,
I wonder which part of the story was that. Okay, let me add his name in the damn thing. We'll do a review on that too. Cause I was just getting ready to say I'll do another video, but I ain't gonna even tell no lies. When I get up off of here, I'm gonna put my turkey wings and candy yams on and finish writing my essay. I ain't gonna even tell no lies. I done been duped. So I'm gonna put it in here so we could talk about that now. I'm gonna put it in here so we can talk about that now. Let's see. Hernandez Govan interview. Hold on, y'all. Y'all know we always doing something over here. Hold on, I'm gonna have to add his name and then put his picture on there. Um hold on, y'all. Yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you guys please like, share, and subscribe. Hold on, y'all. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let me try and fix this thing up. Give me the opportunity for let other people come in too. Mm, it's so cold outside. Yeah, I'm glad I'm getting on early because I gotta finish up my work today. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Mm. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Now we'll add Govan a review on his interview in the what you call. Just give me a second to add it. Right? Let's see. Okay. Now we got it. Okay. Okay, we'll start off with Diddy. Hey Rob. Okay, so we'll start. Yeah, I have an essay due on Thursday. Yeah, I'm telling you, like this schoolwork, I'm so happy. I'm gonna say this. I'm so happy that the 15th is the end for this semester because like philosophy is something else and she gives a lot of work. Like a lot of work. And she was giving so much work. Like I missed some assignments, but thank God she's allowing me to go back and finish them and do them. She's taking 20% off the grade, but at least I don't get a zero. And 15, I'm up out of there. I'm gonna take something that ain't gonna have me so stressed out. Classes like I guess like classes like philosophy and math and stuff. I need to take in the summertime. I'm gonna start taking classes like that in the summertime. Just like classes that I enjoyed, like my law classes and stuff like that. I could take anytime. In the summertime is when you're all perked up and stuff, you take the hard classes, child. I'm telling you. And you can't even like when you take tests, she made us download something on our computer and on our phone, whereas she could watch us to make sure we are not cheating. Okay. So even if you take classes online, when you take these tests and stuff, like they have a camera watching you, child. Okay. Because in case you want a little help, you forget shit. Anyways, y'all, but it'll all be over with in just a few days, child. I told my advisor, I said, going into the next semester, she's like, well, you got to take quite a few more philosophy classes because your major is law. I said, well, just go ahead and enroll me on in my law classes, okay? Because I enjoy that, okay? I like learning about the law. Anyways, you guys, I want to talk about why are brilliant artists being gunned down? Did P Diddy help or hurt the hip hop movement? and Hernandez Govan does an interview. Thank you, John Brown, because that wasn't on the agenda, but my mods be I mean my yeah, my mods too, and my subs be looking out for me, child. I appreciate y'all just sticking with me because I've been half coming on, and when I do come on, my brain be all over the place. I ain't gonna even tell no lie. I've been feeling like last night. My grandbaby had me so distracted. I went back and looked out. So what the hell was I talking about? I was all over the place. I should have wrote it down, child. But and y'all ought to see my hair. Now I went and got my hair colored and it's pretty and stuff. But girl, I look like my weave and stuff looking like trying to do this essay and stuff. It looks like not Aquanisha, but it's looking like somebody. Okay. It look like somebody. It looks like I'm an alcoholic. Okay, that's what it's looking like. One of them wigs. When you look as an alcoholic, but I'm going when I once I brush it and stuff and curl it, I'll be back to normal. Okay. Hush! Hell, my brain and stuff already messed up. I'm not playing. Okay. Anyways, you guys, so I thought about Nipsey Hussle and Young Dolph, and all of this kind of ties in. All of this came to my mind when I was looking at that Diddy documentary. What's up, the hitter? I ain't forgot about you in Cyprus. I just can't find the damn phone. Okay. When I find it, it's still the same. Okay. And so, I thought about all of this kind of ties into like Young Dolph and Nipsey Hussle are two of the ones that I thought about when I was looking at that um when I was looking at that P. Diddy documentary, which is hard to take your eyes off of once you start looking at it. Okay. I think it was very informative. I think that 50 Cent and whoever the producers were, Gene Deal says, according to what he was told, 50 is not the producer. They just used his name to push the documentary. And I can't believe that. But these producers could put together a pretty good masterpiece because it kind of speaks of a story of what a lot of people had started saying once social media became so big, right? It was a lot of stuff that we didn't get the opportunity to see or hear about because um you know it, the main medias did not necessarily talk about these things, right? And so hey, they were able to a lot of these artists were able to keep a pristine type of reputation and all of that. Once social media, we started to move into the age of social media, more stuff started to get out because a lot of artists, they blackball, we it was out of sight out of mind, we didn't see them no more, we thought that they had just fallen off. They're getting the opportunity to tell their story. Okay. And so we get to thinking about how rich Diddy is, because he is rich. He got rich off of the backs of making sure that he took every dime of his artist money. He never none of his artists that I know of ever got rich. Maybe Faith Evans, and she only got rich because of Diddy. Okay, I mean of Biggie, right? Because of Diddy. Okay, and I mean because of Biggie. Okay, because of her being married to Biggie. Faith is talented or whatever, but you could tell that Faith really, she's always been quiet about Biggie, but I mean about Puffy, but I'm sure she, knows quite a bit, has always known, and probably to save her career, she has not said a whole lot. If you think about it, even though Diddy kind of built Faith Evans, you never heard him speak a lot about Faith Evans. She finally left Bad Boys and I think went to Capitol and all of that, but he never spoke illy of her. And that is because she knew a lot about what had happened to probably to Biggie, right? But I got to thinking about why is it? We know that when hip hop started, I was looking at a lot of the artists from like when they first started hip hop back in the day, like in the 80s and stuff. And hey, I do believe that, God allowed this to this could have been a way, if in my opinion, an avenue for a lot of black people who were struggling, a lot of young black men and women to be not only just become famous but become wealthy, right? And you see them there on the mic, and that is definitely a gift to be able to rhyme, for it to roll off of your lip like that, to come up with rhymes like that off of the top of your head. You definitely got to be quick witted, and we saw that, right? And so, and looking at them, how they would be out there in New York or wherever, they was hungry. They all they wanted was, they wanted the fame and they wanted the money. But as I say all the time, they found a way, because you had a lot of young black people who didn't know anything about business. They found a way to remove the wealth, because if you think about it, fame and wealth as it relates to the industry, you would think that it's really supposed to be associated with each other, and it is associated in other communities, right? Because the more fame you have, the more you are acquired, the more money you make. It's not like that in the black community, though, right? And so they found a way to separate the wealth from the fame in the black community and give these artists fame, and then leave them black broke, busted, and disgusted. And so the reason I thought about Young Dolph and I thought about Nipsey Hussle, because those were the two that immediately like stuck out in my brain. They were trying to do something different, right? They was trying to do something different. It's something when you can go and you learn the business, or you have another way of making your money. And hey, and then you can get into this rap thing and not be so desperate and learn the business, right? But then what's so sad to me is two young men who could have been the blueprint as it relates to breaking the chains of slavery that they have created in this industry against black artists with this talent. They found a way to the black artists have the talent, but other communities have found a way to create the generational wealth off of these black artists. And to me, it's a damn shame, because I don't see the outrage in our community, right? And it has been happening forever and ever and ever. And so you get artists like Young Dolph, um you get artists like Nipsey Hussle that starts working at breaking those chains of slavery. And I used to always say this all the time, even on my TV show. I think these people that start to break the chains of the slave system in the industry, hey, they're going up against Pharaoh. Okay. And God told Pharaoh, let my people go. Okay. How long uh do our people have to be continuously out of cheated out of their resources, from their talent, from their hard work? It's been happening since the slavery days. And now we're in the modern day slavery type situation, and it is still happening. And the thing that's so sickening about it now is that you see a lot of black people that are participating in it, right? Instead of jumping on the bandwagon and joining a movement of trying to help break those chains, they jump on the bandwagon to kill whoever the messenger is that has worked hard to figure out this system and to break this cycle of slavery. They jump on the bandwagon and help to take out, okay, the person, okay, that wants to break the cycle of what Pharaoh has been doing to God's people, right? I think he involved with Dawes murder, just that the prosecution could. Right. Absolutely. He's definitely involved. And I'm gonna talk about Govan in a minute. I believe that he's involved too. Um, I believe he was involved. The prosecution was weak. Cornelius to me was credible. Okay, Cornelius was credible. You didn't have the prosecution. The prosecution didn't do enough research themselves to be able to come back and uphold what Cornelius said. They allowed the defense attorneys to make him look like a liar, okay? Because they didn't know it. Okay, no, okay, because y'all know how I be getting, okay. But why are brilliant artists who um, take the time and the initiative that's not fame hungry but wealth hungry? Why are they being gunned down, and why is it allowed to happen? Just because they want to break the cycle of slavery, they bring their artists in, and they don't allow hey, Snake Spotter, they don't allow the industry to get a piece of or to whore out their women, or to whore out um the artists, right? A lot of people may say, well, look at what Gotti is doing. I can't say that Gotti is doing a brilliant thing, because you see Gotti's artists that may be God artists that somebody like Moneybag, who is talented enough to be a multi millionaire, that's tied up in 2-3 deals. So he's still being held down by that Pharaoh system. Okay. Because everybody sees that he's talented, and you don't see any black people because they're trying to line their pockets to include Gotti. Okay, you don't see them trying to tell Moneybag anything differently, because Moneybag is very talented. I never said that he wasn't. I would never take that away from him. He's talented enough to have crossed over, but he ain't did that. Okay, and that's because he's still tied up in that Pharaoh type system. And I've been hearing for a long time, God says Pharaoh got to let my people go. Okay, but it's so unfortunate that you have black people that are just as greedy and want to carry on. If they get a seat at the table, instead of them trying to change the cycle, they just nod their head, I just want a piece of the pie. And so they take on becoming a slave master, okay, or cracking the whip for the slave master, because they ain't got no damn power, okay. A cracking a whip for the slave master, to be able to just be able to sit at the table, because they ain't making no damn decisions. What they're doing is taking orders. Okay, I said what I said. It don't change. And so I think that it is a darn shame that we're seeing that. A lot of people should be outraged, especially artists. I think about a straight drop who wanted to be in the industry. Okay. Now, Straight Drop comes from out of Orange Mound. I'm sure he does not have any type of business knowledge as it relates to the music industry. Okay, so he was up under Young Dolph, whatever, for whatever reasons, Young Dolph didn't sign him. Now, I remember somebody came into my chat, okay, and this is where I get mad that he had to be a damn Memphian, because he got the damn mindset of one, okay. So he came up into my chat, and it's got to be a damn shame for me as a Memphian to sit here and say that, okay. And so he came into the chat, and he said, I don't, he was respectable, but it's so weird because around that time it was so crazy. One of my friends that was watching told me, block that nigga that came into your chat up under that name, block him. I was like, who? He was pretty cool. He made another page. I blocked both of them. Okay, when police say block them, I don't know what he got going on. I blocks them. Okay. And so, anyways, but he came into the chat. He was very respectable, I guess, but he had an undercurrent. He didn't like Young Dolph. He said, "I don't mess with Young Dolph, but I got respect for you though." I was like, okay, this is a Young Dolph channel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I never understood, because we was fighting. We wanted justice for Young Dolph, but he wasn't disrespectful or anything. Um, and so, although he did say one time, when he said something disrespectful to Demon, he made an insinuation that I didn't appreciate. I didn't appreciate that. That was very, so I guess, it was coming out. It was all coming out because, they all had their people. I guess them hit men that was out there killing like the Jeremiahs and all of them. They had brought their funk asses to YouTube. I'd be glad when they indicted too. Okay. And so, it had to have been something with him for them to say block his ass. Okay. And I did. And I ain't seen him no more. He deleted that whole damn channel he had. And so, anyways, he come in and he says that, I don't have a respect. I don't mess with Young Dolph, but I don't mess with Young Dolph, but something or something other. And it's funny because when I think about that young man's name, I remember seeing a video. Okay. I remember seeing a video. It's a lot of stuff. I really don't. I really had stopped talking about the Young Dolls case because I ain't giving nobody no heads up on nothing. You motherfuckers, it's just gonna be a surprise. Okay. And so, excuse my French on that one, God. And it's Sunday, Lord. I just need you to forgive me. I ain't no big cusser like that. I'm gonna stop cussing. And so, anyways, you guys, he said, I remember what they called him, and then I remember seeing a video where Young Doc was getting ready to race with a guy. Y'all know I'm an investigator. Young Doc was getting ready to race with a guy, and he said his name. So I got to thinking, I was like, wow. And the guy seemed to have a real deep love for Kamisha. And he went in on another vlogger for talking about Kamisha's sons. Okay. And so, I guess, when they told me to block him, I started watching him a little bit more because he was into another vlogger. Even before he exposed that vlogger, they had already told me who he was. And so, anyways, he said there was no way that Young Dolph should have had Straight Drop up under him and not sign him. Okay. And I just looked at that. I was like, yeah, he's got to be a damn Memphian. He probably living in Atlanta. From Memphis, probably living in Atlanta. I don't know. Okay. And I got to thinking about I was like, wow. I was like, Clive Davis and them sign whoever they want to sign. But you got a Negro with that Memphis mentality, okay? And all Memphians ain't the same. It's a lot of Memphians that handle their business and do their thing, okay? But there is a spirit of jealousy that resides over my city and a spirit of witchcraft because folks feel like that they can control you. You see what these bitches got on here doing, thinking they was gonna do to me. You not gonna talk about God. You gonna talk about what I want you to talk about, and that's why I put the police on them. Okay, if you in jail, you ain't got time to sit on here and harass me. Okay, because that's what it's gonna come down to. You gonna either leave me alone, you're gonna be in jail, which I'll give you a choice because I'm a fair person. Okay, and so, anyways, I was like, wow, he feels like that he could control Young Dolph. Young Dolph built Paper Route Empire, he and Daddy-O from the ground. And you got a Negro that feels like because they got that witchcrafty spirit, you couldn't have got him to do it to a white CEO. But he thought he could get on here with his black ass and say that Young Dolph should have signed somebody that he didn't want to sign. Anybody that builds a business, whether it's big or small, to include him, nobody could ever tell them who they can or can't hire. So why did these Negroes think that they could take him out? Because they felt like he should have signed Straight Drop as a CEO. He didn't have to sign him. He had a whole lot of other dudes around him that he didn't sign, but that spirit of witchcraft in Memphis is prevalent. Okay. And it's a damn shame when you got these men that act like emotional sissies that feel like I'm going to take him out because number one, jealousy is at the core of it. Okay? Jealousy is at the core of it. All right? Y'all, I done had a lot of sharks swimming around me. Okay? And so, listen, because I am like I am, I had somebody get on my blog to say one time in the comments, you would have had the problems that you had on here if you never would have had if you would have just you would have listened to somebody. You too damn stubborn. Basically saying I was gonna talk about what I wanted to talk about. Okay. It was a lot of people that had been bought off. It was a lot of people that had been scared off. Okay. Hey, but what they did was they really helped with the investigation more so. Orange Mountain Quet got lucky. And here's the thing that gets me about Orange Mountain Quet. He know he guilty. Okay. And for some reason, God, he got off. Okay. You don't see, when you hear people talk about a Terrence Gangster Williams, we see Terrence Gangster Williams. He does not talk about anything as it relates to his crime. He's always promoting a nonprofit organization. You see where he's at least, regardless to what he's done in the past, I don't know what he's done. If he's killed people, then hey, I don't agree with that. But you see something different, right? I don't know. He talk about, what's in the news, which is like the BGs and all of that. Hey, that's cool because people want to hear about that. Um, but he also tries to promote something positive. Now, Quet, I have not seen or heard Quet say anything about, you know, God or church. I don't even know if he believes in God because number one, Quet has a just from being a woman and sitting back, and I study men. I study men, and most women do. That's how we know how to push their damn buttons. Okay, but I've studied him just in his demeanor and the words that he said. He's a stone cold killer. Okay, let me just say that. I believe that with all of my heart, but I also believe that Quet is a broken man. What Quet and them was doing to Straight Drop and them, some older dudes did it to him, and it has been a repetitive cycle that this old ass Negro ain't trying to break. Okay. Now God has allowed him, and I don't know if it was God or not, but if hey, we could take it as it was because he do got a son that needed him. Okay. Just like Young Dolph's sons needed him, right? You don't see him pushing nothing positive. Okay. You don't see any of that. You don't see any remorse as it relates or anything as it relates to Young Dolph's family. Now he is a father. Okay. He is a father and he knows what it's like to lose a child, and he knows what it's like to have a child that needs him. Really, all of his kids need him, however many he got. Okay. But you don't, as a father, I ain't seen no remorse kick in. Okay. None whatsoever. Okay. It's getting so bad that I was looking at an interview. Okay. And they was talking about something that Young Dolph did for the city. He couldn't even let them give the man his props without bringing up Yo Gotti. But God says, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatever man soweth, that's just what he's going to reap. Quit better get his damn life right. Okay, he need to get his life together. I'm saying something. I don't kiss. Let me tell you something. I don't kiss ass because it ain't in my diet plan. Okay. And so, it was heartbreaking to me when I heard Quit say, people kind of looked at me as like this hood person because he was known as a hit man. And it's a damn shame when you be in a community, when people look at you as a hood star for doing the ultimate thing. The most evilest thing that you could do is take a person's life that is not a threat to your person. Okay. And so that's why I say Quit need to get himself. He first of all, he needs to get himself some help. And I'm sure he's doing these interviews because he need the money, but he need to get into his box truck business. Ain't that what he was promoting? He need to get his ass into that. And he need to try and rectify. He did the ultimate. but I don't see him trying to turn anything into a positive. He's creating more and more and more and more bad karma for himself. Now, this situation was straight drop. Y'all done jumped all over the place, but y'all know when I get to talking about this is my damn phone in hell. Um, y'all know how I am. Okay. Let me go here.
I said, Master, if there's anything that's keeping you from or hindering you from representing me to the best of your ability, like I know you can, just give me a head nod or something. Just let me know. I know you might not be at liberty to speak on it.
Now let me just say this. He's talking about Massey, and I think I've spoken about that. Like, um, I remember when he said keep going. He said I remember when Massey, okay, so when Massey was representing him, um, I remember I got a call from a young lady, okay? And I the young lady, I believe she I don't know what it is because I'm so in tune to God. I promise to God. When that girl called me and she said, we're looking for a private investigator, she's very professional, and she told me what profession she was in. I'm not gonna say what profession she's in because I don't do stuff like that. And she I don't know why in the back of my mind when she called, she's like, we need a private investigator and this and that. And she said, I want you to talk. He's gonna call me in a minute. I want you to talk to him. I don't want to just say his name yet. Something in my mind clicked and said, I bet it's that young. It's got something to do with that young dog's case. And anyway, she said, anyways, I said, well, I started asking more questions and she told me, and I knew it at that point because he didn't call when he was supposed to call, and it was probably a good thing. And at that time, I didn't know because I these folks was all over the place. And so I remember thinking, I was like, dog, like, because she called me back a couple more times before I stopped taking her call. She didn't tell me what they needed a private investigator, who it was that they was looking for, but they was looking for somebody. And she didn't tell me who though. And so I remember saying something to her very vaguely. I was like, I've looked at that case. And doesn't he have a private investigator or something? Wasn't one appointed? And think she was like, she didn't say anything bad about Massey. She seemed like a really nice girl. She didn't say anything bad. She was just like, well, he's handling, I don't know what to say. She said, they haven't told us any, we don't know who the private investigator is. And Massey, I guess he's putting all of his energy. I believe it was that Tyree Nickel case or something. She kind of said that. She's like, I think he's putting all his energy into that. So, we want to get out, do our own thing. That's kind of how she said it. So she didn't give me to it. She was kind of professional with it. It's like, I really would like for you to talk to him though. And I remember her saying, I was like, wow. I was like, well, that's a big case or whatever. And I had just started, like, I think I had just started vlog. I don't know. I'm not sure. And she said, yeah. And she kept saying, well, this he did not do. She really believed in him. She was like, this he did not do. He did not do it. And she kept saying that. So, anyways, she so I thought about it. I was like, dog, why would they call me? And I started thinking about it. I wonder if they're trying to set me up, because they have been doing, people that was surrounding that case that did a lot. And so then I reached out to a couple people. I was like, I think they trying to set me up. And so, anyways, they kind of did some research and it was like, well, nah, I think the girl is legitimate. Like what she's legitimate, like with her profession and all of that. So I don't really think so. But anyway, she called me back a couple more times. I did not. I didn't take the case. And I'm glad I didn't ask her a whole lot about it because I had, being the professional that I am, I mean, because I could have deleted all the videos and took the damn money. Because what really made me suspicious was when I gave her, I inflated the price. I was like, well, let me see what she said. I really didn't inflate it. Hell, that's what I charge. Hell. And she said, okay, where can I meet you at the pay you? She kept saying, okay, where can I meet you at the pay? I said, they trying to set me up. But anyways, I guess it turned out cool. Anyways, I didn't take it. And so I knew at that point, and he's talking about it now that he kind of had issues, I guess, with his attorney Massey or whatever for whatever reasons, and all of that stuff. But um, it was a lot of stuff going on surrounding that case. Okay, but I only brought that up because he's talking about that on this particular part of with Massey, because Massey is like a top attorney too, but he's like in with Art Horn. That would be um he would have been, yeah, he was kind of in with Art Horn, so I guess he wanted, I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Y'all, which one is the one where he say he doesn't talk the straight drop?
Like, like, was his death deserving? Yeah, not saying deserving, but more so expected. Like, yeah, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. All I want to say is it was expected because I feel like I wasn't expecting it to happen because the juke that I know, I thought juke would have been moving better, you know. But to juke defense, he had some security out there with him, but he ain't had the right people.
I wonder why I can't. Okay, maybe that's a short or something. Okay, maybe this is it right here. You think they tried me? You think that's what it was? Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Before she contacted me, um, like the year prior, like right after the Young Dolphs, like 2 months after he was killed, because I think they had just killed Jeremiah. I told y'all they had that OG Big Black, so that's the reason why I was just suspicious of everybody. Like I was suspicious of everybody because I don't really understand what they thought was going to happen by trying to get people to not talk. But when they were threatening people in the beginning, whoever it was, um, these people were reaching out to law enforcement, and law enforcement was able to track quite a bit of people. Now, when I first got threatened, I was very neutral. Like I was like, I'm just gonna be neutral because I've enjoyed um Yo Gotti's music. Young Dolph, around the time that I really got into just like gospel music. And I had listened to a couple of Yo Gotti songs. Yo Gotti is more so my era. And they was really having people to threaten folks. Like they threatened me immediately. And when I was neutral. Um, or trying to be more professional about it. They left the message up under my comments, and I didn't even know that they had left the message up under my comments. One of my friends that I've been friends with for 20 something years had told me, Tam, I don't I don't think this is a good time for you to vlog on the case. And I was like, well, I'm gonna be neutral. Like I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything bad. And he was like, I really don't think you should vlog on that case at this point because it had been a couple months or whatever. He kept going back when I did initially did the video, and it was to be inspirational, really, to the young men, because I used to mentor young men that was in jail, East juvenile jail, And it was more so to be inspirational about when they commit these crimes and stuff, what it does to their families. I started hearing things about, what was going on with Straight Drop, how people were turning their backs on him. And it was more so to from a standpoint of it's not worth it. Okay. They left the damn um they left a threat up under that comment. And the person was like, what you said too much. Like, um, you need to chill out, mom, because your friends at the police department not gonna be able to help you. My friend said when you started doing them videos, he said I would go and read the comments because I knew they was gonna start threatening you. He said I knew they was gonna threaten you via that internet, or they was gonna try to reach out to you and threaten you. And sure enough, they left a threat up under that video. And from my understanding, it came from the camp of like JoJo and Splat in them little camp because they kind of traced it or whatever. So I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Let's keep going. But I said all that to say this: like when they was threatening Thaddeus Matthews, they was threatening Tawana Murphy, and all that. Thaddeus went to the DA's office. Thaddeus went to the DA's office, and the reason that they was able to get leads and stuff on who it all was that was involved in doing this stuff is because they started tracing them. I mean, they killed the man and went into pandemonium. They know they was wrong for killing him.
The lowest he could do. So when I reached out to the people that mattered and everybody felt like it wasn't worth the gamble of me losing the rest of my life.
5325. Okay, 5325. Okay.
Do you care to even think about what he's going through from whatever relationship y'all had together with the music?
And actually, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I spoke to bro. It was the first time communicating. He reached out to me. He had someone to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And saying, Drop wanted to holler at me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to, check the temperature and see, what it hit for him, what he wanted to discuss. So I accepted the call and, we chopped it up and bro just hollered at me and because there was some things that were said and just came to the light during the trial that I didn't agree with. Yeah. And that if the shoe was on the other foot, I definitely wouldn't have never said or did to him. But he explained how he came to saying that the things that were said, and he was just being brainwashed by the sucker Cornelius. Cornelius telling him that I was doing certain things, and the whole time it was him. And Drop ended up seeing that when the case played out. And so, he kind of felt bad for saying some of the things that he did say. And, he just, apologized to me. And not on no sucker shit, just on some grown man shit.
Yeah.
He apologized to me. So, I don't want to see nothing bad happen to Drop, I hope he do his time, with as much peace as he possibly, can. I ain't that type of person. I ain't cold hearted like that. At one point in time, I felt like we were gonna be the next Birdman, Lil Wayne or something, because of the little nigga talented, and
I find it weird that Straight Drop is reaching out to him at this point in time. I think these are pivotal moments and times. Even if it does not relate to the Young Dolph's case, I get to wondering sometimes about, I just wonder. These are these are crucial times. So um, I wonder if Straight Drop is stressed out about some things. Okay. and maybe it would be beneficial for them to be cool. Okay, I don't know, but I digress.
And I seen it, and I wanted that for him. I wanted him to shine, and I wanted him.
No, I didn't see it.
Become.
Let me see.
The next drill rapper out the city.
For what you wanted, do you feel, now that the case has played out the way it played out, do you feel it was the lack of money for him, or was it animosity for the situation, the person that was, of course, for Dolph being hit?
Well, I'm gonna say this, and it's kind of hard for me to answer that question because I don't work in the courts. Right to this day, I can't still say he did that.
Yeah.
He got an appeal in right now that's pending, and he's still standing on that he innocent.
Yeah.
So I can't necessarily speak on that,
Okay.
or whatever.
So I guess a better question would be, if it was, let's just say we're speaking of hypothetical, if there was $100,000 to be made as far as said play, can that $100,000, would he have benefited from that $100,000? Like, based on the way y'all was moving and working, like, man, he was $100,000 away from making his dream come true.
Well, if we speak hypothetically, I think the type of person, bro was a motherfucker, and he ain't tolerate no bullshit. If it's time to go, he gonna go.
If you have dementia or are afraid you might have it, you should.
That's weird because Quet says he's still standing on his innocence. I hate to have to get into Quet's ass because I'm gonna tell y'all something. Even though I know Quet is a killer, okay, I know that it came. I know that he was trained by somebody else that took advantage of his youth, okay, and then it was a repetitive cycle. They kind of did the same thing. The straight drop. Quet is broken as he can be. He need to go somewhere and try to get himself some help, okay. But Quet set up on another video and said that he knew that it was them the first day, that it was straight drop and them out there the first day. And now that straight drop is scared because maybe some folks that know some things. People get the call and it ain't just Cornelius. Cornelius don't, okay. It could be anybody. And he's probably wanting to make sure that Quet know a lot of stuff that he's done. He needs for Quet to be on his side, but Quet better worry about his damn self. Okay. And how he feel like, see, okay, I'm gonna have to keep my mouth closed because see, I got too much stuff going through my head. I gotta process it. Let's keep going.
If you have dementia or are afraid you might have it, you shouldn't drink warm
Cornelius
water.
couldn't have made straight drop. Straight drop knew more about the damn murder than Cornelius did. Hell, straight drop was the one sending Cornelius them damn kites and stuff. The straight drop was in Aztec. Cornelius was way down there in Cornelius was down there in oh god, he was in the annex. How in the hell Cornelius get in his head? Okay. They had the jailers taking the letters. Straight drop was the one initiating everything. Hell, he tried to get Cornelius to take the charge and tell on. At first he said Gotti and Jook, but Cornelius got in court and said he said Quit and Jook. Okay. And that's believable. Okay. Straight drop wanted because straight drop talked. He wanted for Cornelius to tell everything so he didn't look bad. But I don't think at this point he's been convicted for Young Dolph's case. He's scared of the death penalty. Okay. Okay. So maybe he's afraid something else is gonna come up. I don't know why. Like, if y'all go back and look at my videos, they were so dirty. They was deleting my videos, y'all. But I still got them in the damn archives. Okay. Um, I said I don't know why. I was like, I just feel like this case. This case is. It just reminds me so much of Alpo Martinez. I don't know why my mind just told me in the end somebody was gonna be a damn Alpo Martinez. Okay. I always believed that. And for some reason I always believed that it was gonna be straight drop. Okay. I don't know why. Anyways, I'm gonna let Quit talk, okay?
Uh, I guess to answer your question in a smoother way, I done seen him go for way less. So with that being said, if it was $100,000 on the table that I'm not aware of, then yeah, I could see, bro. You know what I'm saying, going with a move.
Now Cornelius, the way it played out with him, and again, I don't know y'all relationship as far as what it was with that, but how do you see? Of course, he's still pending his day in court. How are you hoping it goes for him?
I hope he die in his sleep.
Now that man's so low down. Now, why would he say something like that? That's evil. That's evil as they come. Now he wrong for that. Hell, he ought to be mad at Yo Gotti and them. Hell, they was the ones setting him up. They was pushing it down to blame everything on him to include straight jars. Oh, that's just evil. Um, John Brown says, I've been telling people 2026 is going to be very interesting regarding the people involved in Dawes unaliving. Guess we'll start with Trayon Ingram trial in which Cornelius will be testifying. Y'all, I wonder why they haven't why haven't they said who it was that was involved in the other person that was involved in that case? I wonder why they ain't said nothing. I had heard that it was straight drop. That's what I heard. But I mean, I don't know. Some people on here say that it was teasy. They say that the lady's son said that the person that did it is unalive. Nah, I don't think the person that did it that's unalive. I heard early on that it was straight drop. Okay. It could be somebody else, but that's just what I heard. I don't know though. And I didn't hear from nobody on the street. Okay. So I don't know though. It's very odd that they said that the person is on the run and they've never said another word about it. That's a clear indication that they know who it is, right? I don't know though, y'all. I don't know. I guess, straight drop trying to get Quit, butter Quit up in hopes that Quit can go and kill some of these people for him. But Quit, they're not gonna let you, it's not gonna be like the first time, okay? You just need to sit your old ass down and go to a church. Quit need to go get in church. Black Barber says, Quit is just as the money low down. It was straight dropping Trayon Ingram. That's who it was. That's who I heard it was. I mean, I heard that from the very beginning. You know, I don't know though. I don't know. But it is. I explained. Um, I tell you, and let me just say this. I do believe that. I believe that a person is supposed to pay for their crimes and their sins, right? But I, I guess I can only imagine how straight drop is feeling, but at this point, but you got to understand, like, all Cornelius might not be the one selling everything. I don't think Cornelius even knew about half the shit that these folks probably been telling on him. And it does not give, like I said, it does not give me any gratification to for somebody to for a young man to be looking at whatever it is that he'll be looking at if they can prove all this stuff. It does not. It does not. I promise you it don't. And so Quet needs to just sit down somewhere. Okay. He just needs to go on. Um what was I getting ready to say? Um yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I don't be wanting to. I don't y'all don't get mad at me, but I be getting emotional because I used to mentor. I used to take time out of my own time after I got off work, and the chief would allow me. When I was working for the chief, he would allow me to go and mentor the young men that was in jail, and they were so talented. And some of them were in jail. They was in juvenile, and some of them was waiting to go to jail. I'll never forget. This one young man was in there. He would rob people, but he was so talented. Like he could draw real good. They would use him to draw like the sheriff's star on the wall and stuff. And when I talked to him and asked him why he was doing what he was doing, like he was so well spoken, and he was like, and I know kids lie because I got kids. They're manipulative. And so I remember he was like, he hated for Fridays to come because that's when his daddy got paid. And then he knew once his daddy got paid, he was going to get drunk and he was going to beat up his mama. He was like, and it wasn't nothing I could do about it. I never forget he said that to me. And so when I got back to work, I was like, I'm going to pull these now. I looked his name up and looked at his address and stuff. And I pulled the 911 because police department, I pulled the 911 calls, right, to see if he was lying to me because I know kids lie. And sure enough, when I pulled those 911 calls, he wasn't lying. The police had been called out to their house. It was so many calls of the police being dispatched out to their house down through the years for domestic disturbances. And it made him angry. Number one, that he was a young man because boys like to try and protect their mothers. And that his dad was getting drunk and beating up his mama, and he was having to look at that. It made him angry. So it's really hurtful to me when I see all of this talent. Most of the talent is locked up in jail. Okay. And that's not me being naive at all, because I'm not naive. I'm very intelligent. Okay. And I'm just as crafty as the next person. Okay. So I know when people think they're lying to me. So, or our research is to see. And so it bothers me when these young men are misled, and it's a repetitive cycle. If Straight Drop had not gotten locked up, Straight Drop was at the age, just like Alabama Hill was saying one time, he was a young Quit, right? He was what Quit had been, because some older dudes trained him, messed him up. They was doing the same thing to Straight Drop. And if Straight Drop had stayed out, he would have done the same thing to the next person that did not have a guidance. And I'm not giving them any excuses. I'm telling y'all what it is. That's just how it is. Okay. Yes, they got to go to jail and do their crime for whoever it is. All of these, you listen, they mad at Cornelius. They don't know who telling on them, supposedly all these unsolved murders or whatever. I don't think Cornelius could have known about all of these murders they saying that they putting on this boy. Okay. This has to be people that has been close to him. That's why y'all don't hear me say anything about the Young Dogs case anymore, because it has definitely, just from the Young Dolph's case, it has taken on a life of its own. It has branched out into other things. And so I just think in these times we have to really be in prayer, right? Um, hey, if they was to send him to the electric chair tomorrow, it would hurt me. I would cry because I got a child that's the exact same age as him. And it hurts me that these older men did not, they saw somebody that was already in trouble and crashing out. And so instead of them offering him a better life, not to go and destroy young Dolph's life and other people's lives, they could have set him down, right? And try to let him know, look, bruh, if you want something better, listen, we got to go this route if we're gonna get this money. And they didn't do that. They didn't do that. So that's what pisses me off about the Quest. That's why I talk about his bald head ass. He pisses me off because Quet could have stopped all of this and he didn't do it. There was no way in the world that he should have allowed Juke, okay, to come to him uh to proposition him to proposition or get some other people to the table about taking out Young Dolph. If he was gonna have Straight Drop to be his artist, it ain't no way in the world he was supposed to allow that type of energy around a product that they was trying to build. Okay, because that's what they look at the artist as, a product. He didn't do that. Being an older man, being that Straight Drop is the exact same age as his child, could have been his child. He didn't do that, and that's the reason why I hold him responsible. Because I always told y'all, I said he's not the mastermind, but he allowed greed, and that's just what it was, like greed. And that's the reason why when he talk about Young Dolph, you see his disposition change, because he knows that allowing something to go on just for some money is wrong. Okay, and you have to read what you sow. Okay, and I think with Quit got too many motherfucking yes people around him. Okay, well, you know, you got off, bruh, and this, and that. They need to tell his ass the damn truth. He got too many fucking character flaws, and he needs to be in a church. Okay, because he gonna mess around and have a stroke from that guilt. Just looking at him, he totally broken, and he needs to get his ass some help. And that's the issue that I have. You need to try to, at least, Young Dolph's family don't want to talk to you. Okay. But what he need to be trying to do in the name of what he know he got off with, because he know he did it, and in the name of his daughter, because he's lost the daughter to violence, he need to be trying to rectify some shit, but he ain't doing that. Okay. He says that, did you see my other comment in which I mentioned that someone informed me that CEO Jizzle was one of the people that unalived Juke? You know, I've heard that before. And I'm gonna tell you, I never believed it. Not because, you know, CEO Jizzle is still basically a baby. Okay, he's still a baby. So I don't really believe that CEO Jizzle did this. And then when Quet, if you listen to Quet interview, Quet said, you know, the people that's claiming that they did this to Juke didn't do it, or they saying did that to Juke, they didn't do it. So I don't believe that CEO Jizzle them did it. People try to put that out there, but I never believed that CEO Jizzle and them were involved. Those were some real professionals. I don't know. You know, I heard they came from out of Houston, so somewhere from out of Texas. So I don't know though. I think Quet know who it was, because he said that they everybody heard it on the street. I think if he could go to the right interview, he would say who it was. He might. John Brown says he was talking about BEO Lil Kenny. Yeah, I know they said that BEO Lil Kenny got a song, you know, insinuating some stuff, but I mean, I think that he did that. He made that song. I mean, he, they, how sometimes they be trolling and stuff, or it could have been, referring to something else. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I think. Black Barber says, no one cannot change the demons within themselves, but themselves. I mean, it was just too well. It was just too well. It seemed like to me too well planned out. Um, they were, I don't know. They said it was very controlled. Um, I don't know. I heard somebody say from within, the investigation that the guys that came in and sat in the back, they didn't believe that those were the guys that actually unalived him. They think that they came in and to make sure he was in there, and went outside and told the people that he was in there. Okay, and then they left or something. One of the vehicles was already waiting on the lot, and then one trailed him there. So, because from my understanding, I think it was two. I don't know. You know how you hear stuff? I'm not sure. Black Barber says, no one cannot change the demons within themselves but themselves. And some people are the children of God, and some are the children of Satan, and quit, and everyone involved are of the devil. They definitely did a devilish thing. And I don't know, some people just I don't know what to say. Oh yeah, let me see who this is. Oh, they're saying BEO Lil Kenny did that song months before Juke was unalived. They said he did the song months before he was unalived. So, and the video was record. He says he did the video. It said BEO recorded that song months before Juke was unalived. He did that video snippet in October, 3 months before Juke got blasted. Somebody just texted me that, so I don't believe that they were involved. I don't think the police believe that they were involved either. Um there was people sitting at the back of the funeral who was in a, yeah, I mean, I believe that they believe that the people that was sitting at the back of the funeral, they was definitely in on it, that walked in with those, those COVID masks on. I don't know if they necessarily believe that it was the shooters. I think they believe that they came in to make sure he was in there, and went out and told the shooters that he was in there. And the white vehicle that was already sitting over at the repass was already there, and the other white vehicle trailed them to there. So I guess, I mean, how I don't know. I'm not sure. You know how you just hear, bits and pieces of stuff. So, I mean, do I believe the police know who it was? Yeah, I think that they kind of um know quite a bit. They probably don't, can't prove it. Okay, that's enough of talking about that. Um, what else was we talking about? Who was we talking about? I forget. Straight drop. Um, yeah. I don't know. It seemed like to me, Juke's hit was more professional. You know, very deliberate, more so professional. Um, you just heard Quest said he had some security out there. It just wasn't the right security. I mean, it, I, I don't know what to say about that other than if he had had somebody, I don't think that anybody could have did anything except for probably got, been unalive with them. I don't care how much of shooters that they were, because it would seem to me that it, it might have been so well rotated and organized. Okay. Um, the target was him until it became other people, right? Until somebody else became a threat. So, I don't know. So, hey, rest in peace to Juke. I hate that happened. I do. I hate it. It could have been anybody. Juke was a street dude. Um, he was a street dude. So, um, it could have been. Okay. I'm trying to read my text messages, y'all. But like I said, rest in peace to him. It could have been anybody. It could have been anybody, you've heard a lot of people throw out a lot of names. Um, you know, I I'm kind of stepping out on a limb here, just in my mind. I was looking at Quet do an interview, and they asked him about Juke, and from the look in his eyes, you heard people say that he did it. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say that he did it, but he might know the people that did it. You know what I mean? Just looking at his face and his energy, looking at his eyes. I wouldn't say that he did it. He might have known. It's a case of, I knew both of them. I knew Juke. I know the people that did it, and like I said, Juke was a street dude, so it could have been anything, right? It could have been anything. John Brown says, can't feel sorry for Juke. Look how bad they did. They did Dolph dirty, and they did him like that for no reason at all. You know, um, what's I don't think people have thought about why all of a sudden during that time, because Dolph was doing his thing. You had not heard about Dolph and Gotti really being into it in a couple years, I guess. If you go back and start looking at. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I used my train of thought. Start getting the text messages. Uh, y'all, what was I talking about? I forget. Anyways, y'all, I don't know what I was talking about a few minutes ago. I've lost my train of thought. I think we was talking about hip hop and why are brilliant artists being gunned down. Um, the love of money is the root of all evil. Um, because God says, and money answers all things. Okay. Um, but the love of money, like the greed that people have for money, because they don't know how to call money to them in an unkarmic way. You know what I mean? Because we're in the image of God. Like you can call money to you without creating bad karma for yourself. And so their lust for it, because when people lust for money, it's because they feel like they can't get it, right? They feel like they can't get it. They haven't figured out some things as it relates to them being in the image of God, right? So, um, has the National Guard helped to slow down the murders in Memphis? They're definitely out there. People still been doing stuff, but I mean, it's not as bad as it was. I'm gonna tell y'all something that happened yesterday. I went into Kroger and I went into Kroger in the Whitehaven area after I left my mom's. After I left my office. And I walked into that Kroger right there at Elvis Presley and Mill Branch, and I was sitting looking for the damn turkey wings. They ain't had none. Okay. And I looked up and it was so many National Guard guys and women in there. They were just they I mean they walked over there by me where the turkey and stuff was. I don't think they was looking for no turkey wings. They didn't pick up nothing. They didn't have a basket. They just walking around the store. But that's the they been robbing the Brinks truck or whatever it's called. So maybe that's why they was up in there, but they was deep up in there walking around in the Kroger. I was like, wow. Um says the love of money is the root of all right. The love of money is the root of all evil. Um I talked to my cousin April, and she says that as far as she know, that Adolf Senior is doing okay. She had not heard that he was doing bad or anything. But we got on here we prayed for young Dolph's father, and I'm gonna reiterate this. We said a prayer about 2 years ago on here for young Dolph's father, for God to heal him totally, right? But if it's not in his will to heal them totally, to at least allow him to stay around with his family to see his son receive justice in totality. Um, we pray for God to not take him out of here. Let him stay around until it's over. At least. And it ain't nearly about over. So he ain't going nowhere no time soon. Because we put those prayers up into the atmosphere. As soon as National Guard leaves, it's gonna pick back up. It might. I hope they send them right on back. Okay, I hope they send them right back. Um, Man, they took a great one when they took Dolph out. Yeah, I hate they did that to young Dolph. Um, you know, you hear people talk about, young Dolph had like an arrogance. What people need to understand is like, I'm a Leo myself, and who has a bigger heart than a Leo? You gonna get cussed out, okay? You piss me off. But I ain't gonna talk about you behind your back though. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna see your bald head ass, this and that. I'm gonna talk to you like I talk to you, right? But if you have a sincerity about wanting to do better in life, and I know you're not BSing me, if I can be that connect, See, I don't like people that have that hustle spirit. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get something off of her. You finish. I ain't got nothing for you. Okay, go play in the middle of Germantown Parkway. Okay, but but as far as like having whose heart is bigger than a Leo, okay, I can identify with Young Dolph. He was probably misjudged because people misjudge me all the time as being arrogant because I'm so quiet and reserved. I'm shy. I'm shy. That's why I'm like that. I'm an observer and a thinker. Okay. I don't be trying to get over on people or anything like that. But if you do something, I'm gonna call you on your mess. I am. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And so people don't like people to be real with them. They want folks to kiss their butt and butter them up when they wronger than two left legs, right? So yeah, they took a real one. I think he could have changed the trajectory, I guess, if I'm saying that right, of how the music industry, he was one of the ones, him and Nipsey and some of the others, could have started a movement to help these young black brothers and sisters to create long money. It's folks making long money off of the talent of young black artists. How come the young black artist is not getting that long money, right? And you got people like Young Dolph and Nipsey and all of that. They was trying to change that. If I'm gonna be the talent, why is it that I gotta be broken? And you get to pay for for your generations to come living off of my talent, right? And so you got black people. They use black people to help to destroy him. It was more than Yo Gotti and them that wanted him gone. Because if you think about it, when Young Dolph was unfortunately killed, that's when we started seeing Yo Gotti really go up. He was not up there like that. He was still basically almost just like a local joker. Now, as far as folks talking about him having $100 million, I told y'all before Tasha K said it the other day that when they are on these shows, they paid them. I knew that because I have a TV show and I know that folks pay for advertisement. It's not what you are, it's about a perception. That's what makes people want to get to know you more. Oh, Yo Gotti worth 100 million. That's a good look. So it fools a lot of artists to want to go and sign with him. If people unfortunately don't judge people by their character, they judge them by what they think they got. And that's why so many folks get screwed over now. Um, the reality is in the music game, you have to pay to play. You get too big, you'll have problems. That's true. Nobody owes you nothing in this life. So I really, um, I really hate that all of this stuff happened. Okay. I hate all of this stuff happened. I get to thinking about Diddy. Okay. I get to thinking about Diddy. And this is where I was going with this. Like Diddy, um, they started, if you listen to some of these people, they said they started grooming Diddy. They said Diddy was one of those guys, like he was different in the very beginning. And I believe that because I live it every day because I have a good heart. Okay. And so people kind of think it's something wrong with you because me, I have a good heart. And so when I see other people that have good hearts, I gravitate to them. I don't go, oh, that's a fool. I wonder if I can bump their head. I go, oh, that's another person with a good heart. So I gravitate to them, right? Because it's extinct. Um, so I can understand like when you start getting the type of power and stuff Diddy got, you have to be firm, right? Because if you're too sweet, they'll eat you. They will. They'll try and eat you. And so that's why a lot of people like myself get labeled as being crazy, because people can tell that I have a good heart. And it's I mean, it don't help the lies that folks saying that don't know nothing about me don't put out. They think I wonder if I can get over on it, and then I turn into the big bad wolf on them. I start growling at them and be ready to go ahead and end them. Okay, and they go, "Damn, she crazy. I thought she was another way." No, you don't know me, so you shouldn't have thought that I was no way. Okay, until you got to know me. So, but what Diddy did was he became they saw that Diddy wanted it so bad that the elites saw that they could use him to change hip hop. He did a lot of good in the forefront, as you know, as far as like music and producing. It wasn't necessarily him. It was a bunch of talented um producers and stuff that are broke to this day, right? But he started changing. I started seeing, like, in the late, like, 1990s and early 2000s, where Diddy started trying to usher in change the face of R&B and hip hop. It just didn't go over well. He wanted to start replacing black artists with Latino artists. Okay, they dance, they got the rhythm, because a lot of Latinos are just black anyways, mixed with a lot of some other things. But he wanted to totally change the face. He started getting all Latino groups, Asian groups. Um, he started getting his choreographers to teach them the rhythm, as like a lot of the black artists had. The elites used him to do that, and it just didn't go over well. So it just got to a point he wanted the power so bad, because he's owned by people. That's the reason why they could take him down. When they used him up, they chewed him out. We thought that, as I was saying, it's not what they are, it's the image. We thought that he owned Ciroc, but we saw what they did to him when he got into trouble. If you own something, they can't put you out of it. So he was the face of it. And so they saw that they were able to use him, and he did. He ushered in a lot of stuff. Hey, hear my right hand to the Lord. All people are beautiful. All women are beautiful, of every race. I'm so not a racist person. But black women have always been the exotic ones. You know how I know? When Josephine Baker went over to, and black women were considered the exotic ones, because we came in all different colors, shapes, and sizes, right? Okay. Our dark tones, light tones, all of that. And so when Josephine Baker, a black woman from St. Louis, went over to Paris, where they didn't see a lot of black people in the 1920s, she was able to make it because white people were so fascinated by a black woman with dark skin, okay, dancing. It was, oh, she's so exotic. It was extremely fascinating to them. So what Diddy started doing, okay, we didn't start hearing about Latino women are the exotic ones, and Latino women are beautiful. But black women have always been the exotic ones, right? He started changing, they started using him to try to usher in another group of people to replace who started hip hop and all of that, okay? And I don't give a that's why I don't give a damn about him. I don't, and then they got the same story for every black man. They want to take down a successful black man. He ain't no damn success to me. Look at how many black folks he took down. Okay, look at how many black men that they use to use him to emasculate and what's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for without being vulgar. I'll just say turn out. Okay, I'll say turn out. And he did it with a lot of pride. Instead, they did it to him. And did it? He's got that. I guess he's got that tone. If they did it to me, then everybody else gonna have to go through hell too. I don't like people like that to this day. I believe in folks working hard, but when putting somebody through hell, people feel like, well, I went through hell. You got a lot of women like that. They've been through hell and they like to see other women go through it. And they get mad at them when they ain't been through it. I've been through hell. How come she can't go through hell? You need to take your ass somewhere and get yourself healed. I don't fool with people like that. Okay. But that's what they did. They used Diddy. Okay, they used him. And when they had used him up, they spit him out. And so us as black people, Diddy was trying to get his own liquor. And Diddy was talking about starting another party just for black people. Did it. They had been using Diddy for 30 years. How come he had 30 years to do it? Why all of a sudden now, since they done used his ass up and don't need him no more, got him to do the ultimate. We got a new generation that ain't studying Diddy. He's no longer effective. So they don't need him no more. Now all black people, well, they just trying to take a black man down. Look at how many black men he done took down through the years. Seemed like to me he was responsible for Tupac's death. Tupac was a young black genius. He was responsible for Biggie's death. That had everything to do with greed. And he's responsible for a lot of artists being broken because he took them to the mountaintop, and then he didn't let them just roll on back down gradually. He dropped them. Okay? He turned around when they got to the mountaintop, he turned around and dropped them off of that cliff and basically killed their spirits. And they ain't been seen no more until we see them now. Okay, look at what he did to Shine. So I don't care nothing about him. It's his turn to experience what he put everybody else through. Okay? Everybody. You're going to get your turn. That's the reason why you better you better sow good seeds, because everybody gets a turn. Okay? You just make sure you done created some good karma so you can have some grace. God can give you some grace to go through it. Because one thing for sure, when you're a good person and you start having some troubled times and you done been good to a whole lot of folks, more people remember it than don't. You know what? Tamara going through that, but you know what? Tamara sure got a good spirit. We're going to see what we can do to help Tamara. We got to stand behind Tamara on that one. Now, those are other good people, but when you've been a low down dirty dog, who going to stand behind you? I ain't studying him. Look at how many people he done killed. At least he get to get out and come back to some of his millions. Big and them can't get up out the grave. So I get sick of black folks with that myth. They trying to take down another black man. Y'all, we need some help. Our community needs some damn help because a lot of us is twisted in our mindset of how they've been able to just trick us. And you got a lot of black people that do it too. Okay. They learn that system and then they're able to trick our minds. He know the power of the media. Hell, they didn't give a damn. They didn't take Diddy down because of Cassie. Hell, them same folks that took him that started filing them charges against him on Cassie, they was watching him mistreat Cassie. They just decided, if we're going to take him down, even though he did it to a lot of black women, we're going to make sure that it's white looking skin. We're not going to condemn him for a black woman. And he done did way worse to way more black women. Okay. Although he did Cassie wrong. Okay. The most valuable thing on this planet is the human mind. When you can influence the masses, absolutely. Those who control the media, that's that saying. Those who control the media controls the masses. That's why we got social media now. You got just like they did with the Young Dolph thing. They had the opportunity to tell the truth. You got people that was on here selling out in hopes that they was gonna be able to get record deals for a little group they had, or trying to change the narrative for a couple $100. You know, trying to change the narrative for cash apps. Okay. I don't like nobody that ain't got no that sells out for any amount of money. Um, but these people sell out on here. They pitiful. That's why I say the mindset of our community has to change. Okay, it has to change, and we got to get people that's bold and brave, that's willing to do it. Okay. But we talk about the power of the media. They put out, when you get somebody, I always say, okay, when they start trying to talk, when they start, trying to condemn somebody in the media. Now, of course, Puffy did what he said. Okay. I'm sure it was another reason why they want to try to condemn him too. He just that he done been so dirty. I don't really give a damn about why. But when you start seeing the media tearing people down, you gotta try to sift through everything and ask yourself, why are they trying to tear this person down? Why are they trying to make this person look like a liar? You know, um, Oftentimes, hey, it is because they're trying to liberate. Now, in Puffy's case, I believe Puffy stepped on the toes of his handlers. So I ain't talking about him. Okay, but I'm talking about those that's really out there trying to do a good thing. Now, they talk about Omar. What's his name? The guy from out of Philly. Is this Omar? Um, what's his name? Omar. Because I've gone to see him before when he came to Memphis a long time ago. Omar Johnson. That's his name, I believe. And Omar Johnson, they talk about the money he was supposed to take up for a school and all of that. Hey, but you have to think about Omar Johnson tells he's told he's okay. They condemns him, but he tells a lot of truth. Okay. I would show y'all something, but hold on. Because when we get to talking about, they start taking down every black person that they took down when trying to start no movement. Um, some of them needed to be taken down. Now we got to hold people accountable and not use the race card when they're wrong. Okay, I think that's what have us stagnant now. We ought to stick together. I ain't sticking with no damn rapist. Hell, he a black man. That white folks had rape folks. That's why people don't take us seriously, y'all. We got to get away from that. We'll make it a race issue when we don't want the person to be held accountable for heinous crimes. Okay, and people start taking us seriously when we say, "Listen, we gonna condemn the ones that do wrong according to the crimes that they commit if they are guilty." Okay, and then start supporting each other in our communities when we're trying to do better. Okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't talk for 2 hours. Ooh, we done talked about quite a bit. So let me ask y'all something. Do you all believe that Diddy helped or hurt the hip hop community? Because I got I'm gonna be on for a little because I'm gonna talk about Quit and them again, Quit and Straight Drop, because there's so much shit on my mind as it relates to that. Since he brought up, I just don't talk about it at all because I don't be wanting to say the wrong things. Um, and then I got to inject my turkey wings. Okay, I can't wait. Y'all know I be happy. I bought that garlic butter, but I got the garlic and herb butter. And it's something about injecting a turkey that I love. But this I'm gonna inject my turkey wings, and I got that Bob Marley spice that I ordered from off of Amazon. I'm gonna rub it down with that, and then I'm gonna put all my other spices on. Ooh, y'all, just thinking about them turkey wings and that baked sweet potato with cinnamon and butter. Oh my god, I'm gonna have that for dinner tomorrow too. So I done got happy. They gave me some more energy when I started talking about that because I was getting ready to get off. I think I need to order. My dogs need some treats. They done ran out of treats. They've been around here looking sad because I forgot to get them some treats. Because when they went over to their little thing, they saw and they ain't got none in there. So they've been upset. John Brown says, black people got money for Jordan's hair, patronizing other races' businesses, but no money for Umar's school. Shaking my head. Because Umar is an educator. They've tried to discredit him and everything as far as having a doctorate degree, because he got his doctorate degree online. Okay. But Umar is educated. Okay. Tim, I thought she was shy, not Cal. You thought who was shy? Tim, I thought she was shy, not. You talk about my grandbaby. You thought my grandbaby was shy. Oh, girl, um, my grandbaby talks so much it don't make no sense. She done almost ran me crazy. Oh, you talking about I'm shy? Oh, I am very shy and reserved. And when I need to do a lot of talking, I will. I have to prepare myself for it. And it's easy for me to get on here and talk to you all because like if my camera was on, I would be like, if y'all notice, like when I turn my camera on, how I be shy and stuff. So it's easy for me to talk when I'm not looking at the audience. When I've had to speak in front of an audience, I had to prep myself for days, and I can't look directly in the faces of the people in the audience because it'll just throw me out so bad. I have to look above the heads of the people to stay on track. Um. Anyways, y'all, what else was we talking about? Straight drop says, Diddy inadvertently helped all the wrong done resulted in a lot. All the wrong done resulted in a lot of people learning. No, you are not shy. Your your food excitement. I know that food excitement got me when I got to thinking about, ooh, I get to go and inject my turkey wings with all of that goodness and put my Bob Marley spice on it, rub it down real good, and then put my spices on it. I don't really put salt in my food, so I use a lot of different spices. My mama said, my mama said that food tastes like everything, every seasoning in the world. I be putting like 7, 8 seasonings on my food, but be trying to substitute from not using salt. Um, I'm running it all in. Sorry. Anyways, y'all, what we say about what was I getting ready to say about straight drop? It's funny that straight drop all of a sudden wants to call quit. Now he posted a few weeks ago talk about how he loved Teasy, but when Teasy was killed, straight drop didn't even say rest in peace or nothing. And he said, I can't hide how I feel about you no more. Why would he try to be hiding how he feel about Teasy? Why would he feel the need to try and hide it? I'm trying to think when I'm gonna wear to work tomorrow. It's cold outside. Um, they hit Teasy 25 times. Oh my god, that was definitely personal. Oh my god. Mm. Um, think they had closed casket funeral for Teasy. Well, he had been out there for a like a day or hours or whatever. Um, yeah, yeah. What facility is dropping? I hear lemon juice keeps everything. I don't know. He's in some parts of Tennessee now, I do believe. um he's in some parts of Tennessee. Yeah. Um but Teaser played a big role, was at the meetings in Miami, if y'all know. Yeah, I wonder who delegated it. Now that we know, Teasy, everybody thought that Quet was the leader of Trula. Um, what was I saying? I got distracted. Oh, we thought that Quet was the leader, and then we thought that Teasy was the leader. But Quet revealed who the leader of True Mafia is, and that's the leader of True Mafia was and is Devin Burns. Okay, I I think they killed Teasy for nothing. Hmm. No, Quet says that Teasy learned everything that he knows from Devin Burns. Now that's what Quest said in the interview. He said Teaser learned everything he knows from Devin Burns, and he says that Devin Burns and J Money started the group, the Trula group, and they wrote the laws up and all of that. Y'all, it's so cold outside. It's ridiculous. They say it's 46, but it's damn colder than that. Hell. Let me see what the temperature gonna look like tomorrow. Tomorrow it's gonna be 41. Yeah, it's gonna be up in the 60s Wednesday. Then it's gonna go all the way back down. Lord Jesus. Do I think that Straight Drop is gonna get charged with Howard Barnett's death? I don't know. I believe somebody is going to, but I don't know who it is. I don't know who it's going to be. The question now is, Quetta pointing so hard at Burns. Is that to know that we would never really know the real truth, possibly? I it's weird. That situation with Devin Burns is really weird because when Devin Burns was up in that courtroom and he was saying, "Y'all trying to kill me," he was scared. He was real scared of what they knew. Okay. And then and then everything got dropped on Devin Burns and his, you know, it seemed like to me his it's weird. I tell you. So I don't know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Mm. What about JoJo Splat and CEO Bobby? And they still got JoJo Splat in jail, as far as I know. And CEO Bobby been out. I I I don't know what he doing though. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, hold on for a minute. I'm looking at something. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Rapper should go get rap. Says rapper should rap a get along song. My goodness. I do not believe anything that Quet says, even if his tongue came notarized. I wonder why he hates Cornelius. So I'm trying to figure out why they hate Cornelius so bad. Why they hate Cornelius so bad? They hate Cornelius because they haven't been able to get to him and kill him. That's what it is. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me. If y'all haven't hit the like button, please do hit the like button. I'm gonna turn some heat on. It is cold. Y'all, we only got 39 likes. Y'all hit the like button. And I'm trying to figure out because it's 60 people in here. So I've been seeing at the most 6 people comment. I'm trying to figure out who the other 50 is. And you don't hit the like button either? He said because he telling, and he probably ain't the only person telling shit. It's just probably been it's more beneficial for Straight Drop to be cool with Quit, to make sure Quit don't tell on him. They are scanners. Your channel is their scan. That's that's what it is. Well, they need to hit the like button. Y'all hit that like button. The people sits in the bushes. Y'all hit that like button. Keep running the likes up. It says the rest are either thieves or people who, well, they definitely be. That's exactly what it is because they steal content from people like me and then go and get on their channel with a lot of conviction and my people said this. They say it real hard and like they really got some information. Don't get me started, okay? Don't get me started. I tell you. Ooh, I need some avocado. I need some avocados so that I need some avocados so I can make my egg and avocado breakfast. And I need to get my dog some puppy treats. Let me see what time I gotta. Oh, it's so cold. Hold on, y'all. Let me check something out. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, you guys. I gotta go. I gotta run, you all, because I gotta go and pick something up so that I can come back and I'm gonna put my food on before I leave because it's only gonna take a few minutes. Listen, I enjoyed being on here with you all. I may do a video to continue talking about Quit. I gotta go back and look at the whole interview, right? But let's say a prayer. Dear God, I just thank you for everybody that was on this live. I ask that you shield and protect us all and our families. No weapon formed against any of us shall prosper. Any lying tongues, any evil people that try and rise up against us will be condemned. Dear God, I ask that you come and allow your spirit to reign over the city of Memphis. We see a spirit of evil over the city, a spirit of jealousy. I ask that you just allow your spirit to reign, God, and open up the eyes of the people. Touch the hearts of those that need to be touched. Dear God, I ask that you go and you touch Hernandez Govan, God. We don't know why you allowed him to get off, Lord, but we know that you know. I ask that you touch him from the top of his head to the soles of his feet, God. Change his heart and change his mind. God, you took Saul, God, and changed his name from Saul. Saul was a murderer, and you changed his name from Saul to Paul, and you can do the same thing in this situation. Use him for your benefit in the mighty name of Jesus. We just thank you right now, God. You changed the Apostle Paul name from Saul to Paul, and we're believing that you allow him to get off to use him for your benefits, God. We thank you right now for keeping those people that have lost loved ones due to a lot of these people, dear God. We ask that you touch Howard Burnett's family, Lord. We don't know what's going on, but we know something is happening. But we ask that you allow the truth to come to the forefront and comfort them in these coming times, Lord. We ask that you touch the Adolph Thornton's family, the Thornton family, Lord. We know that this is not over, and we ask that you keep them healthy and well so that they may see justice. And we ask that these people that have done these things, we ask that you touch their families, Lord, their mothers and their fathers, God, and keep them as they see their children have to be condemned for the evil that they've done. We ask that you give them the grace that they need to go through this with the broken hearts. No family wins, but we just thank you right now that you're bringing justice to the forefront, closure in the mighty name of Jesus. I ask that you touch the Memphis Police Department and the FBI and all other entities that are involved in these different murders and give them the knowledge that they need to bring peace and justice. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Y'all, it's been a pleasure. I gotta go because I gotta go pick up something. I gotta put my wings, my turkey wing, my turkey wings on first. Okay. I love you all. Y'all have a good night.